Hello everyone, this is Persephone, and today I want to talk to you about something that I saw on the news. In general, I try to make videos that they are timeless and they are not focused on celebrity gossip, but I want to discuss a bit about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, that they have been married for like 30 years or almost 30 years, and recently he wrote a book about his life where he said that he has been having an affair or an open relationship with someone else with his knowledge. So there were a lot of people who were talking about this and saying that he was cucked, that he's a loser, that they are fake, so many bad stuff. And I wanted to add my unsolicited 2 cents as a very experienced person who has been married twice and now is extremely anti-marriage. By anti-marriage, I mean in the sense that Hollywood and the blue pill is serving us. So I don't know this guy's life. I don't know what exactly happened, but I know that when you are this tall, handsome, black guy who's a Hollywood star and a millionaire, and you can still say that you weren't able to stay monogamous or your wife wasn't able to stay satisfied with just you, then I don't think it's just you. I think there is a very big flaw with the idea of marriage as it is today. No, I know I'm going to get so much hate for this video, but I don't care because I believe that if I'm going to do something useful, it's to tell you things as they are and not as people like to think they are. So recently in my AMWF Facebook group, there was a guy who posed another question, and he said, why do marriages today don't last forever like they used to? Let's start from that question and then move on to Will Smith. My grandmother stayed married to my grandfather until he died from kidney failure. My grandfather was a total sociopath. He was a cheater and he stole large amounts of money from her in more than one occasions. Now you're going to say, why was your grandmother this loser person who sat down and accepted that? Because I've made a video about my grandmother in the past. I don't know if it's still there, but she was the strongest person I know. She had a practical problem. You see, women got their own bank account in 1975. Before that, they could only have a shared bank account with their husband or a male of their family. So my grandmother would work 2 and 3 jobs, deposit the paychecks, and he would just walk into the bank, go to the shared bank account, and practically steal her money. That was so traumatizing to her, she stopped trusting banks, and she developed the habit of hiding money in the most impossible places, so that he won't find them. And she told me honestly that when he died, she felt very relieved. So if you say that this kind of marriage is a better marriage than people who divorce today, I don't think so. My summarized opinion, do not make this video a very big long rant, is that in the past, women stayed in marriages because they didn't have financial power. Often they couldn't work. Even if they did work, it was like my grandmother and someone else controlled the paycheck. And also contraception wasn't available, so if you get married at, let's say, 18 or 19, and by the time you're 28 you have 5 kids with some loser guy, where are you going to go? In many cases, their family wouldn't even take them back. But now you're going to say, well, that was just one case, or some cases, not everyone was like that. I have really contemplated a lot about that. Because I'm not going to say that I'm faultless, that my relationships failed because of the state of marriage or some kind of, absurd philosophy that makes me the victim. Because I see people writing online and they're always the victim, which is quite narcissistic. But if we look at the history of marriage, you will see that for thousands of years, marriage was just for families to combine wealth or to produce kids, that they would work in the farms or to get rid of their daughters if they had many daughters, and it had nothing to do with romantic love and affection. And the people who were eloping and considering marriage for love were being seen as fools. And in the last, again, 40, 50 years, in the 20th century, we got this idea of happily ever after. Here's the problem though. People now live much longer than they used to. You don't die at 40 or 50, so it's very difficult and much harder for me to stay. I'm going to get married at 25 and I'm going to be 25 years with one person versus I'm going to be married at 25 and stay until I'm 80 with the same person and exclusively sexually and romantically. I think that's extremely rare. I'm not saying that it can never happen in the sense of, never say never, but I think that in many cases, we're not the same person at 25, at 35, at 45, or we change in different directions, or we discover things about ourselves that we didn't know, and that makes things very unsustainable. Also, from my experience again, I've read this, but I've also experienced this. The maximum I've been able to feel attracted to a person is 3 years. After that, I'm no longer attracted to them. We get into a situation of, okay, I'm going to say it in the fuckboy sense. Do you know those cheating fuckboys who say to their wives, I love you, but I'm not in love with you? As horrible as it sounds, I have felt that for many people, that yes, I love you, I care about you, but I don't feel that spark anymore, you know? Now you're going to say capitalism, white woman, entitlement, camp whore, e-whore, all of the usual stuff. You don't appreciate true love. You don't appreciate how love deepens. You just try to promote debauchery. I'm not promoting anything. I'm just trying to state the facts, and I want each person to make the choice for their own life informed. So I don't think there is a wrong path in what I'm describing. Unless you're deceiving or abusing someone, then yes, it's wrong and you have to stop. The other problem that I've noticed, that they say that when you start doing any kind of digital adult work or real work, you lose trust in men, is that a huge 70 or 80% of the men who approach me on OnlyFans or on many vids or on other websites are actually married or in long-term relationships. If I had $1 every time a guy who is in some kind of commitment messaged me, I would be surpassing Elon Musk now and fighting to be first in Mars. Okay, I'm not joking, it's on the thousands. And I usually ask those people because they share the situation with me. And in my line of work, what I get is I want to be a sissy, or I want to try pegging, or I want to try some sexual practice that my partner feels very disgusted with and she doesn't want to try, so I'm doing it behind her back. I think I'm bisexual, so I want to try having sex in relationships with females or femboys or other men. I'm in love with another man and she doesn't know, or my wife has completely let herself go, she's not sexy anymore, or for the usually Asian or from non-Western cultures friends who are in arranged marriages, you cannot revive the spark that was never there. Or to quote incel forums, it was over before it even began. I'm not saying that all of these people are monsters, and for a very autistic person that I used to have a lot of black and white thinking, and for a very borderline person that I used to do a lot of splitting is when you say all good, all bad, I think it's a very big step for me to see that everyone is part of the problem here. Of course, the person who doesn't want to be in the relationship is the one who has the most responsibility and has to sit down with their partner and say that, you know, this is not working, and either we have to try to find a common ground or open the marriage or divorce. But in many cases, we all know that people cannot do that, or people don't want to do that for various reasons. Finances, that they love the person, that the person cannot survive by themselves, or they feel that they can't. And this perpetuates a very strange situation where everyone pretends to be monogamous, everyone pretends to be fine, and in reality they have these double lives where they go online or they go in real life and find some other roundabout ways to satisfy their needs. By saying that, I do not accuse the cheated partner at all. And I say this as someone that I have been contacted by mad wives or girlfriends endless times, and even now online I get at least 10 messages every day, especially on Facebook, from women who are saying that you're a homewrecker, you're the reason you and your kin, like the OnlyFans e-thoughts, are the reason that my husband is buying that crap and our marriage isn't working. I'm not blaming them. It bothers me at times, and I become very poisonous at times when I have a bad day, but I understand that it's unfair to them because no one can ever compete with a fantasy. A woman that lives with you and she has had children and she's working normal jobs and she can take care of herself, she can never compete with a woman that you see online only at her best, or your mistress in real life that you meet her once in a while, only at her best, only in a very good mood, with her hair done, with her nail done, wearing sexy stuff. She can never compete. It's like not even fair to her. And I believe that this becomes a situation where everyone is a victim. I'm thinking of starting to write a book called Scammed, in a way that society scammed us, especially by us, I mean millennials, because thank God Zoomers are more open-minded and their eyes are more open than millennials. But If I'm going to start talking about those scams, marriage is the biggest scam. I wish my parents and so many other people that I knew, even online, because for me, I was a person that I relied on online people much more than real life people all of my life, because real life people were like NPCs, like non-player characters, like lost, very, very deep in denial in the matrix. I wish they didn't send me out in the world clueless, freaking clueless. My mother and several other subhuman women of their generation made it all about finding a husband, and if you're not pretty, no one is going to marry you, and if you're not this, no one is going to marry you, and then you get married, and then you realize that you joined the misery cult, and it's horrible. I'm not saying that if someone wants to experience marriage, they shouldn't do it. You should do it. You should do what makes you happy, and I believe that from every experience we learn, but you should be on the right track about it, in a sense of getting married is starting a marathon, not ending it. I have an aunt that she says some very wise things, and she said, if I put effort to look good for strangers, let's say I'm going out, I'm invited to a wedding, and I have to look good, shouldn't I be putting more effort, 10 times more effort for the man who loved me enough to marry me? Yet many people think, I got married, no need to try anymore, let's just get 40 pounds heavier and stop taking care of ourselves and wear crazy clothes and act in a toxic way. And then when the man starts subscribing to OnlyFans, they're thinking, what happened? Of course, there are many categories of OnlyFans subscribers. I'm not going to blame anyone who gets cheated on necessarily, but it happens more than we like to admit. And what happens in these cases is that when you get married, I know two categories of people. And by I know, I mean in real life as well. People who have already divorced, especially after 5 or 6 years, and people who are quote unquote working on it, which is, in my opinion, faking like crazy. If you want to watch a show that I watched recently that shows it very well, I would recommend the Netflix show You, with Joe and his wife, that shows that all of the attempts to quote unquote fix the marriage failed, because once it's done, it's done. And I'm not going to want to bring evolutionary biology too much and start sounding like those incels and the people who are promoting debauchery like I'm accused of, but I believe that when it comes to biology, it makes sense that most women lose attraction to men after some point, because if you think about it, thousands of years ago, men died like flies. They died because they went to war, they fought other men, they had to fight wild beasts. So if one woman married a man and she was stuck forever mentally and physically with him, the human race would have been extinct. So women move fast. Also, that would explain the massive collective Stockholm syndrome and why women fall in love with the enemy or fall in love with dominant men. Or even criminals like drug dealers. You'll see drug dealers and they have women throwing themselves at them. Or the criminals who have the crazy fun gets writing them letters and marrying them inside jail. A lot of those things make sense, but no one is telling you. I see so many people, both male and female, stressed and saying, I'm not going to get married, I'm not going to get married, what's going to happen to me? For me, there are two main reasons that someone can get married and should marry, that they are right reasons. Reason number one is if you want to have children, because I have seen so many deadbeats impregnating a woman and then walking away, never paying child support, and then the child is suffering. So I believe that still we live in this toxic society where you need some kind of legal protection from for your child, okay? Or if you have a career or something like that, that having a wife or a husband would benefit you. Because again, society hypocrisy, if it was up to me, this wouldn't be necessary, but it's not up to me. So if, let's say, you want to be into politics, having a wife, not a fake beard wife, an actual life partner can severely help you. In any other case, getting married is most likely going to fail, because most people don't even marry whoever they're compatible with. They marry the person they date at the time because they are about to hit 30, or because they want to have a kid, or because of some other reason or society is telling them, and they compromise, and then you can be compromising for 50 years. A lot of things can happen. I'm not even going to say 50, I'm going to say 20. A lot of things can happen. You can have a serious illness scare. You can have the one who got away that actually comes back. Temptations are everywhere with social media. In the past, when you left your town, your high school crush would never contact you again. Now she can just add you on Facebook, and your life is Groundhog Day, and it's so easy to just fall into emotional affairs and 77%, or could be even higher than that, of emotional affairs actually turn into physical affairs. So I don't think that they are not serious. And something that I actually read recently and I want to share with you is that there are specific types of personality disorders that cause cheating, that have impulsive behavior, for example, borderline, bipolar, narcissists. These are going to cheat for a variety of reasons that I'm not going to analyze here, but they have a very high cheating rate. So if you marry them, it's going to happen. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. I say that because I feel bad for the women who are contacting me and they're saying, why can't my husband be interested in me? And it's not even about you. It's about the fact that we lost the game because it was rigged before we even ended. And that includes myself too, because I was involved with people that after a while, and by after a while I'm going to blame myself here. I'm the type of person that cannot operate in the neurotypical setting and be happy. The more you know yourself, I think, the happier you can be, because you know who you are and you know what you can offer and what you're looking for. Most people don't even know that. There was a post on Facebook that someone posted saying, would you date out of your league? And there were a bunch of brain dead people saying leagues doesn't exist, anyone can date anyone. Excuse me? This is the level of blindness society has come to. Leagues don't exist. Oh, okay, so if I email the dragon right now, he's going to date me. Or if a person who is 55 and his penis is 2 inches and he lives with his mom, email a Twitch streamer or a supermodel is going to date him. We live in a dystopia where any kind of truth is being seen as a lie. Okay, to not make this video too much of a rant, I would say personally, I don't believe in marriage anymore. I would never remarry anyone for any reason. I would live with them if we had children, which I'm child-free, but let's say 10 years from now I want to adopt a child, for example, I would do whatever is legally possible to make sure the child is safe financially and practically, but I would not marry them because I don't believe that marriage has anything to offer other than help society. And if you want to get married, it's better to approach it not only from a love standpoint, but also from a business standpoint. I think the ideal would be a hybrid between how people in arranged marriages think and how people who are in love think. In the sense of try to make yourself as objective as possible. That yes, you should marry a woman that you feel sexually attracted to. Understandable. I never believed in arranged marriages where you marry some woman that is treating your penis like it's a biohazard, for example, like some people that I know. But if you want to have children, you should be able to be educated enough in psychiatry and psychology to say, would this woman become a good mother? Because not all women can become good mothers. 50% of women are actually narcissists and psychopaths. They used to think that it's much less percentage, but it's not. And the way society is formed, narcissism is encouraged in women. If a woman is narcissistic, she's not going to be a good mother, especially if she has daughters. Will you be able to say, I'm going to enjoy my relationship with her, but I'm not going to marry her? Or I'm just going to drop that fish back to the ocean and fish for someone that she is going to be a good mother? The same way you would choose a business partner. In some ways you have to choose a husband or a wife. You have to say, I like this person. Are they hardworking? Are they having things that they are deal breakers? It shocks me because I meet mostly Asian men who say, oh, I like you so much, I love you, I want to marry you. And when I say to these people, I'm not interested in marrying again, they get offended. Or they say, you know, I like you, and then they want to change pretty much everything about me. And it's tragic. Not just for me, for them as well. What is the point of saying I want to marry or I love someone, but I don't accept their core personality? Core personalities don't change. If I'm a person that I'm an introvert and I have hobbies that I can do alone and that's what I enjoy, you're not going to make me someone that I'm out every Saturday with your friends drinking and happy. I'm not going to be happy because if that's what I liked, I would have had my own friends by that point who liked the same and we would be drinking and we wouldn't have met. A lot of people think this person is perfect if only, and you can put whatever you want to fill the blank. If only they stopped smoking, if only they stopped lying, if only they stopped subscribing to OnlyFans. If you're watching me and you have someone and you think if only, let me tell you something. You're not in love with the person. You are in love with an idealized version of the person that exists in your head only. And I'm sorry that's painful, but that's how it is. Because if this person doesn't change, if yourself from the future, time traveled from 20, 30 years from now, some old man or some old woman came to find you and said, hey, that woman that you married, yeah, she never changed. She never became attracted to you sexually. She never stopped wearing the same clothes for a week straight. She never stopped eating Doritos on the bed and making crumbs. She never stopped being a boring person who loves TV and has no ambition. How would you feel? Would you still stay with that woman, or you would say, holy fuck, I have to divorce right away? I think most people would divorce. So, why do you need someone from the future to tell you that? If a person has been like that for as long as you know them, and they just promise to change every time you threaten to leave them, that's their core personality. It took me a while to learn this type of thinking, and a lot of reading self-help books and psychology books and watching videos and doing self and soul searching, but I realized. And my channel is called Revenge Star, and I'm thinking that I have to eventually change my brand to something else. I'm not going to abandon this channel or change anything, but start something else, because for a lot of people, they showed me over and over and over who they are, and just, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it because I'm a person that I go above and beyond for the things that I want, and these people just didn't have it inside them. There were people that they just rolled with whatever. And these are people that I don't respect, the kind of people that they let things happen to them versus taking charge of their lives and making things happen. If you just let things happen to you, you became someone else's cock. You became under the control of someone else. There are going to be so many people around you happy to jump and control your life. And it was my fault. I kept the wrong crowd around, and these days I block and ban and unfollow and mute extremely fast. So a lot of people, we build our own prisons. And I kept these people around for so long, that they hurt me for so long, that I became this obsessed with revenge lunatic. I'm not going to say that revenge is a bad thing. I'm still a very big supporter of revenge, but not the way I was doing it. Not that pit of hate I was living in. I believe that if you want my opinion on revenge now in 2021, revenge is a dish better served cold. And I talked to you about my mother and how she shamed me and she abused me all of my life for my weight, and how she made me anorexic as a teenager with all of the crap that I need videos to explain. And now that years passed, now she's this obese, weak woman that she tries to walk and she falls down and breaks her bones because she has osteoporosis. And that was honestly the best revenge. It makes my day to just think about it, and I don't care if you call me a monster, because she got what she deserved. There was mental health available, and she quit therapy more than once with psychiatrists. There were medications, and she also quit them. She refused to change. So, well, what did you expect to happen? When you live all of your life in this way, consequences eventually catch up with you. I believe in long-term revenge now. But when I started this channel, if I could push these people down the stairs and get away with it, I would have. I would have to manually stop myself every day by reminding myself that they are not worth me landing in prison. That was the only thing that kept me going. So much hate. And who was responsible for that hate? Me, for not getting rid of them the first or the second time they showed me who they are. Because, you know, when someone is a loser, when someone is a worthless person, and you try to set boundaries, but you are emotionally involved with them, financially involved with them, practically involved with them, maybe you go to the same school, maybe you have the same business, maybe you're married, maybe you have the same friends, maybe you are in an arranged marriage, you have some situation that has a very high level of involvement, and they see that shit they're about to hit the fan, they start promising to change. And they start promising to go to therapy, and all of a sudden they saw the light, and all of a sudden they're sexually attracted to you. And because you're also weak, and because society also scammed you, you give chance after chance after chance. If you're religious, oh my god. If you're religious, I'm going to start giving shovel giveaways to send you a shovel so you can start digging a very big hole and put yourself inside and wait to die, because religion will never allow you to get rid of any abusers. And I'm talking about multiple religions. That's one reason I don't have a religion nowadays. You can say I'm kind of agnostic, because I'm tired of the forgive and forget that doesn't heal any personality disorder. And especially if they're your parents, oh my god. You have to be forgiving them until you die, because they're not going to die. You're going to be on your deathbed and they will still be abusing you. So, okay, this started from marriage and became too general. I have to stop. My point is, as a generation, I believe that we should do the best we can to help the next generations, and that is taking marriage as a concept and as an idea or as a goal out of the pedestalized place that it used to be in the last 50 years and bringing it down to earth. And if you feel that being married overall is going to give you advantages that you want, because yes, I think that overall Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith, they have a successful marriage in a sense of they supported each other, they supported each other's careers, they raised children together, they look healthy, they look very good. So I cannot say that their marriage was failed, but it was definitely not the, oh my God, we are 27 years together and we are still so crazy in love with each other, we haven't even looked at someone else sexually, and we plan date nights. Have you seen that every time a couple has problems and you go to the therapist, they're going to give you a bunch of stuff that they feel almost like a shopping list? Plan date nights, do candlelit dinners, start doing massages. Like, this is ridiculous. If you ask me, I would say I would much rather divorce, or I would much rather say to a person, let's be married at name only and have separate lives if for whatever reason we need to do that, and that's it. I wouldn't do crap like lying to myself. Lying to yourself is the worst, most self-destructive behavior you can do. And it's also toxic and infectious, like the one virus that cannot be named, because it infects everyone around you. You start lying to them too. You have to keep the facade going. Lies breed more lies. And before you know it, one day you have cancer, one day you have some kind of autoimmune disease, because all of the stress, all of the lying, all of the suffering, congratulations, it became psychosomatic. And then you go to the psychiatrist, you pay $200 for a session, and they say, plan date nights. This is going to help. We have been scammed collectively. That's what I think. And people will start saying, are you a philosopher? Are you Jordan Peterson? Are you this? Are you that? Do you think you know everything? Not at all. I'm just a person sharing my opinion on the internet, and because I'm autistic, I realize that my opinion helps people because it's often the elephant in the room that no one else dares to talk about. So you can take it, you can leave it, you can leave your own opinion in the comments. Transphobia, homophobia, racism, sexism is going to be blocked because YouTube holds the YouTubers responsible for whatever is written in the comments, which in my opinion is crazy because I didn't write it yet, I'm responsible for it. So there's going to be censorship, I'm sorry, we're in a dystopia, but well-written, well-thought opinions, even if they are disagreements, are more than welcome. So don't hesitate. Overall, ever since I made the decision to never marry again, I feel much, much better, and if I had invested 1/10 of the money, the energy and the time I invested to worry about marriages, keep the marriages going, and plan all of that crap, now I would have made much bigger and much more important contributions to this world and to my own life than all the stuff that I wasted trying to bring back a spark that naturally died. If it's twitching, doesn't mean it's alive. It could be a zombie. It could be someone that you're trying to bring back to life desperately and failing. And maybe some things are meant to die, you know? Maybe we are meant to, some of us are meant to share our lives with more than one people. Maybe for a few people there is someone that they can be together at 70 and look at each other and still have things to talk about, which is for me an extremely rare gift. I cannot say that I have met many people that I would look at them and say, we're going to be 70 and I still have things to talk to you about. But so if you have it and if you found it, if you found someone that you feel that you're not bored with and they understand you, that they would be an exceptional match to you, then don't throw it away. Forget everything I said. But for the rest of us that we don't have that, well, I think it's better to be black-pilled, right? Thank you for watching.